Hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of The League of Amazing Adventurers here on Tabletop Rolls. It's episode 26. We've officially been doing this for half a year.
Half a year.
And what better way to celebrate half a year than with the beginning of a new arc? Which I'm calling
with drinks.
A lovely little cleanup arc. But before we get to that, let's get to our announcements. A couple of big ones that are just kind of important to know about. Number one, in case you guys haven't noticed, we're doing a D&D show now on Friday nights. The final prequel for that show, which is in the same time slot as this one, at 9 p.m. CST, 7 p.m. PST, is this week. We're going to meet our fabulous Naga Paladin, played by my friend Chad. He's a good guy, and it's a very cool character. And we'll get to learn a little bit more about the world. And then, the week after that will be the official session 0 of that campaign, which is going to consist of a number of whose line is it anyway-esque sort of scenes between the characters.
So excited.
Terrible.
It's going to be a good time. I highly recommend checking out that new show. And the best way to check out that new show is to follow us here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls if you're watching us on Twitch. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, to like, comment, and subscribe on the videos that you see. This way, it makes the algorithm push us out to more people. And if you want even more Tabletop Rolls goodness, that's right. If you want even more of us, you can join our Discord that we have now. So if you want to interact with the cast and you want to play games with us, I have a crippling addiction currently to Valheim. So if anyone wants to play a Viking simulator with me, you guys can come and join me there. But more importantly, that is basically our big announcements. A couple minor announcements that are a little bit more fun and interesting to the viewers. Keep an eye on our Twitter feed, Tabletop Rolls. I'm going to be posting some questions there, just kind of asking you guys what type of content you want to see on the channel coming up. Keep an eye out on our off times. Whenever I have free time right now, I'm jumping into a Minecraft world where I'm trying to become a master mage. And I'm starting out with the Witchery mod. And that one's a really fun witchy mod, so if you guys want to check that out, check out the VODs in our VOD channel. Let's see, other than that, the next thing we have is to introduce our fabulous cast of characters who have just escaped a train with 2 more instruments of woe. Well, 1.5, but 2.
1.5, yeah.
So, of course, tonight, like always, I'm joined by our wonderful cast. To my left right here is the head graphic design artist, Matthew, playing Chip, the investigator.
Good evening. If you ever wish to create a character who uses an improv square as a weapon, you only need to take the improvised weapon dedication.
That's very true. And next up to my right is our wonderful and amazing Abby as Cassandra.
Oh, historically, my hair has gotten more treatment than my mental illness, and that's on what? Me. It's all on me. All my fault.
Abby!
If you
It costs
Cassandra
money?
hitting a lamp throughout the evening, you guys can check out her Instagram, Abby's World's a Stage, and TikTok for that context. It's very funny. I highly recommend checking it out. And then, of course,
That's my sister.
Then, of course, there is our head artist here at Tabletop Rolls, the wonderful and amazing McKenna.
Hello! Pepper says hi, too.
Yep. And
I'm
we
a
were joined by
cat,
Pepper this
and I
evening.
have my Cosmic Brownies, like my Cosmos Oracle, and I'm ready to fucking party. Look at this little baby. I'm so happy for her.
Nice. And then
I can't take it. I can't take it.
below our
Alright,
graphic
thank you, God.
artist and our artist, well, physical artist, I guess would be the best way to say it, is the head of the Cooper cult, the head of the Coop troop. It is Cooper as Lynx.
That poor cat in the frame above me had her tail stepped on because she trusted me not to do it.
And
I will be living with that guilt tonight.
And of course, the ball of chaos that brought an arson charge onto the party. we have Shy playing Ray.
Hippity hoppity, hot take. Raya and the Last Dragon was just okay.
Ooh, I haven't seen it yet.
Ooh, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, let
so I
me
have
tell
to-
you.
So,
I was very excited, and now I'm like,
oh, I'm sorry, Shy.
It happens. It happens.
okay.
But let us hopefully provide a more invigorating and fulfilling story here. When last we left our heroes, and I can call them heroes again because they actually did something heroic, and not just
We did.
Okay.
they had recovered
Now I feel attacked.
2 instruments of woe, not 1, but 2 instruments of woe from the Magdians, while going on a fabulous train heist with our 2 wonderful guests that we had, and their 2 characters that also took half of an instrument of woe with them when they left.
Sure did.
Now we will rejoin our heroes as they're basically sitting in a carriage. Gallant is kind of like sitting down. He has a spot of tea. Chip, you recognize this teacup as your fine china from your apartment.
My apartment?
Your
Apartment.
All right, this is actually a crime now.
It's not a crime. I'm an
man.
adventurer. Drinks the tea.
Oh god, that's
Awful.
true, isn't it? Oh god. Is this what we'll become?
He's just kind of staring there and he's like, so, you're all quite wanted. And I do mean so in the legal sense.
Aw, man.
Back home in Brightol. So, I figured I would offer you the chance. If you'd like to go somewhere else, we can. But if you'd like, I can also just return you to the city if you have business there to clean up.
Well,
How long do you suppose it would take for us to become not wanted?
Well, it would depend on how quickly the local constabulary decides to give up chasing after you. Which,
how many stars we talking?
on a scale of 1 to 5, I'd say a solid 4.
Ooh.
Huh.
That's like a 5% drop rate.
Before.
You sure it's not like 3.5? We didn't do much. It's just a little arson.
I mean,
Technically, I
honestly,
didn't do anything at all. I just
That's not true. I was there. Nim did all of it. She started the fire. She killed the guy.
I will zone of truth you so hard. Don't try me.
No one
She
was
slapped
killed.
an elderly and a child.
As far as I know, no one was killed.
But she was an accessory.
We unfortunately did. I will fully admit we assaulted some officers of the law that we probably didn't need to do.
We.
I mean,
Didn't touch them. I did not lay a delicate tiny finger on those men.
Yes,
None of
you-
it.
It's the worst
you
of
were
the
there and you didn't stop us and you didn't report it.
Could I have stopped
Tackled
you?
the officer. and
Could I have
screamed.
stopped you?
That I think will be entirely up to the judge.
Mm-hmm.
And believe
What a
me,
character. I can't believe that we're just bullying Nim tonight.
I can
I'm-
believe it. This surprises me not at all.
trust me, I'm trained in legal law in the last day and a half.
there was a very good library on the train.
I just hold on. I take 2 rounds, 12 seconds to pull a book out of my coat. Law 101. It's a loner.
There's actually a fabulous story in there about a judge who, while they were working as a judge, basically cleared themselves and convicted themselves of drunken disorderly, and then cleared themselves because they were such an upstanding citizen. They basically gave them a free pass. They said, but you've been such an upstanding citizen, sir, that you do not need to do any community service. Simply take a slap on the wrist and be on your way. And that is an actual thing that has happened in Winnipeg historically.
Amazing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That is an actual thing a judge has done.
And don't get me started on tort law. No one understands it.
That sounds so much more American than it does Canadian, though.
Right? You would think that.
Love it.
But
We should do a Reverend and marry off Ray to his friend.
What?
I mean,
We should
yeah.
marry off.
there was some chemistry there.
Listen, I'll fake marry anybody to get out of this.
All right, so Gallant will kind of just look towards all of y'all. And
Does
just
anyone
say,
have anything they want to accomplish?
I mean, if you have anything particular, if not, I could set up a nice little vacation home for you all that I have.
Not a terrible idea. I guess my only business in Brighthall is I want to check on Ascendancy and find Gwen and that, but if we're wanted, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to get around without getting arrested.
I would recommend stealth and skullduggery.
That's true, and I do have 2 hats of disguise. I'll disguise
Wow.
one of each of us for an hour.
I'm just slightly concerned that if we were to, say, pursue someone that conceivably the authorities themselves are looking for, while they are also looking for us, that is like twice the amount of trouble.
Perhaps we can visit your parents instead.
Oh, Rubik's Cube, thank you for the villain point.
Babe,
Nathan.
no. What?
Not visit your parents. Perhaps we should do something not villainous.
May I ask why you, of all people, want to visit my parents? That sounds like an astoundingly bad idea. No offense.
Just to see what they're up to.
Just to
I'm
see
getting a little curious. Slightly
Probably war
curious.
crimes.
Probably war crimes.
Where did that voice come from?
Okay, well,
Is that the voice of God? Lynx leans forward to Cassandra and asks her if she knows any of the specifics about the Baba Yaga's domain.
Oh, perhaps I should roll for that.
Yeah, if you'd like, you can make me an occultism check.
Occultism. I know a little bit about that. I wouldn't call myself an expert or anything, but I'm slightly have some training.
Ooh, and at 28, that's a success. So you know a couple
Nice.
of things. Number one, you know that the Baba Yaga's domain is directly attached to the area of the Magiskar wastes that they would have called home during their mortal life.
Ooh.
Yeah, that.
However, you do not know the exact location, just because that is something you'd have to research.
I want to see if I
Oh.
have any skills with that. I'm checking my skills because I feel like I've got a feat or something for that.
Other than
Oh,
that, you know that the Baba Yaga's domain is also centered on this plane and the ethereal plane. So there's 2 basically versions of it. There's an ethereal version, which you believe that you were in, and the material version, which you have yet to find. the
Lynx
Baba
has
Yaga
no
can
idea what that means.
Only be felled if it is slain in both versions of its domain.
oh,
Does this do anything?
Unmistakable lore. So if you would have failed, yes. But because you succeeded, you do not get anything extra.
Okay.
DM question.
Answer.
We know that Cassandra is the one who accidentally created the Magiskard waste, yes?
Yes. You guys
Oops.
have been told that
My
information.
bad.
Oops. Oh.
Sometimes you commit war crimes by accident,
Oopsie. Okay, but we do. It'd be like that. Lynx will get a little hostile here and blame Cassandra. But it's your fault that my friends are trapped in that domain.
Hot take.
I suppose it is.
I would like to put them to rest.
Like,
Ooh.
kill them?
But they're already sort of dead.
Oh.
More like a sort of exorcism?
whatever it might entail, but
I mean, I don't usually bring this up, but just all cards on the table. I can shoot ghosts.
What?
good for him.
Ghosts. There's the name of the episode.
I
I
don't
can shoot ghosts.
I ain't afraid no ghosts. I have a gun.
It's a good one.
I don't know if it matters, but the spider lady did say she had all their souls trapped in her necklace.
Spider lady, spider lady.
Oh, are you referring
vaguely
to the
remember the
Baba
spider.
Yaga that once made their home in Breitel?
Yeah.
Oh, they were
Yeah,
a
we
fabulous
sure are.
chess player.
Excuse you?
Yeah, what?
Oh, they were a fabulous chess player. We used to go into their domain when we were young lads and try to see who could hunt the most souls. It was quite the dangerous game.
Who's we? And why?
Other members of the league, and for fun, of course. We're adventurers.
There are
Okay.
many things wrong with that.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose we also have business to take care of in, Kalmia, if we wanted to go take care of that.
Can I get a letter sent to Medora, whatever his name is?
To Midoriya. Totora, yes.
Medora.
Medora.
Thank you. Dear Nisa, dear Tillamook, what you think about putting a ring on this finger? Question mark.
All right, well, that's...
We didn't hear any of that, or are you dictating out loud as you're writing?
I'm asking how I spell words to
Oh.
Chip.
Okay, yes. And I don't know. I've heard people do this. You might want to dot the eyes with a little heart, perhaps.
Oh, cute.
Okay.
Oh, make it an anatomically accurate one, so it's got the valves and.
Ew.
Right. Because the other way is just stupid.
I mean, it doesn't even look accurate. I've held a human heart in my hand.
I believe it.
Believe
the
it.
Coroner, you know.
I
mean,
last
that-
time
Oh, I
held a
forgot
human
about
heart in my
that.
hand,
We were going to
was-
do that next term.
Hmm.
We're all going to get to hold a heart.
Yay. Learning. Huh.
The last time I held a heart in my hand, it was delicious.
Oh God, he's still here.
Is he like this?
What is in that teacup, by the way? I'm just curious at this point.
Oh, I've enchanted it so it can never run out of the tea that I've placed inside of it.
Ray smacks the teacup down.
The tea
that was a
stays
gift.
in the teacup, and it just kind of like bounces. He snaps his fingers, and like all the Mary Poppins, it just pops back into his hand.
Huh.
I
You
added
love
a
to see
returning
it.
rune to the bottom.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Horrible.
You know, Professor Chip, you have a fabulous apartment. It's very roomy.
So, home break-ins aside,
I don't really think it is. It's sized for someone my. I suppose it's. No.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I've
that
had some
doesn't
work
make any
done on
sense.
it. Of course.
home break-ins aside,
With his apartment. What did you... Just out of curiosity, you know,
Fine.
what did you do to
Oh, well,
his
we
apartment?
blew out a wall. We built a new addition to the building. And we've replaced the locks, of course.
wow. The only thing that's going through my mind right now is that scene from Family Guy where the wall just comes off the house and Stewie just goes, "What is this?"
Nim just thanks her literal lucky stars she did not move in to the empty apartment above Chip's.
Yes, we've converted that into a second floor loft.
Oh,
Chip just
wow.
calmly takes out his revolver and just starts spinning the chamber and taking deep breaths. Deep breaths.
Do not worry, Chip. We have placed your things in a compartment underneath the stairwell.
Iconic. Oh my
Got Harry
god.
See-
Potter.
See, that seems that seems a tad specious. due to my being a rat folk.
Oh,
I'm not
no,
sure I'm
not at
okay
all.
with that.
It was just the only room that was left over after the fumigation.
Again, rat folk.
Oh no! When we were working on the apartment building, I dragged in a number of large blood-seeking ticks from a past adventure. It was quite the ordeal. The old
Okay, you know what? Now I'm all right with it. Have the place. I
The old
don't.
landlady
no,
almost didn't make it, but we got her out of there.
My God.
Mrs. Hendricks. She made me scones.
Oh.
She's a lovely woman. Oh,
Okay, we need to focus. We need to form some sort of plan. We are wanted criminals in Brighthall, possibly all of
Right.
Lutania.
so we need to
can't
find
just
me an
sweep that
apartment.
under the rug forever, can we?
I mean, we could.
Oh, I'm certain we could. They'll give up at some point.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have a plan. We find a group of criminals who resemble each one of us, and we hand them over.
The Gob Squad.
They
Easy.
don't look like any of us.
I mean,
They
they're
are
not
green.
Criminals.
We just have to dress them up a little bit.
I don't think that would survive any sort of scrutiny.
I mean, they'd be happy to be there.
Yeah.
They would be happy to be there.
They just want
Yes.
to be a part of something.
And this
Like
way
a
they could be a
prison
part
gang.
of something new.
Yeah.
It'd feel so
Because
right
it's
to be in
the
prison
start.
for you.
Of something new.
It's so right to be here with you. Oh,
Job squad.
I knew it was the start of a song.
Yes.
Our alternatives to returning to Brighthall and trying to figure out some way to clear our names is what? Returning to the Opal Empire?
Well, I
Just have to
believe
go in and kill everyone.
I believe Lynx did express a desire to solve some unfinished business.
In the Magisgard Wastes? I mean, it's not a terrible place to hide.
Yes, though it is across a sea.
Yeah. Are we going
Okay.
to leave the country?
That's what disguises are for. That's what stealth is for.
Oh,
I mean, I glance noticeably at our companion here. I'm sure there are plenty of quick ways to travel over
yes.
great
The League has
distances.
many vessels that are unmarked for nations for the use of adventure and travel.
I'm growing increasingly concerned about who we're associated with.
I kind of am
also
too.
growing increasingly concerned with the people that not only we are associated with, but that we are collecting weapons of mass destruction for.
Yeah, I'm not. I like them.
At least we're getting free college credits out of it. I don't know.
Things you do for an education.
I mean, the next time we come back, I'll have expected them to have bulldozed the college and turned it into a squash court. I don't know.
Oh,
Oh no!
All right,
Squash
so
is
we
so
either get
last
the
year.
Gob Squad, or we just murder straight up everyone we come in contact with.
I mean, option 3 is not being here, which I can't lie. Sounds like a pretty good option.
Yes, the League has a number of safe
go on
houses.
vacation.
the League has what?
A number of safe houses throughout the world. We could give you a short little vacation if you'd like, while things cool down, so to speak.
I do like the sound of that.
It'd give me some time to catch up on my schoolwork, which I've been doing remotely.
As one
Leave it
does.
to you to do schoolwork.
Well, of course, we had at least 4 days on the boat, and what else was I going to do? Focus on what's happening in my life?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Yes, she runs away again.
Is there something you would like to do, Ray?
I already voiced my opinion, and nobody.
Murdering
wants to
everyone?
go with it.
You want to murder everyone? All
We
of
could.
Brighthall.
We could.
could not.
We actually could.
You could certainly try.
I don't know how far we would get. I actually agree with Nimbus on this. I don't think we could. Yet.
I don't even know who we're
I feel like
talking
you guys
about.
aren't trying hard enough. But whatever. If we're going on vacation, let's go on vacation.
We go
Well,
on a lot
thankfully,
of
the
vacations.
action economy is in our favor.
What?
That's a dumb phrase. Where have you ever heard that?
All we have to do is find a water source and poison it, and then wait like 3 days. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god, is this Final Fantasy VI?
I think I read that one.
Innocent people.
I'd rather
Just
not
throwing it out there.
Ray's war crime resume.
You okay, I respect that you are throwing it out there, but I am letting it continue to fall after you have thrown it. I'm not catching it.
The apple is falling all the way to the ground.
We put it out on the stoop, and not a single cat is licking it up.
Ridiculous.
There's a reason why our cat is not in the frame.
So,
Anyway,
Mr. Grixley, if there is a safe house where we can go and not be thrown in prison,
Well, specifically, where would we want the safe house to be? Like, do we have an objective? Do we have a path forward for what we want to do right now? I'm assuming the League has no more questionable errands in locales for us at the moment.
No, not at the moment. That's why I was offering the carriages services here to take you wherever you'd like. I know that you, as fledgling young adventurers, may have a number of loose ends you may want to tie up, so I'm allowing you to tie up those loose ends as you wish.
I feel the subtext is rapidly becoming text here. Well, Cassandra, do you have anything you wish to accomplish right now?
Well, I would like to help Lynx with his closure if possible, but then there is also the things going on in the Opal Empire where we could marry Rolf Ray and take care of that problem, and also keep an eye on Nim's parents a bit. But then we could also take care of Ray's other problem at her home country. So I feel like we have about 1, 2, 3 major options that I would be okay with any of.
I had forgotten about Ray's creepy aunt and her town
I
of
haven't.
I
musical
haven't
marionettes.
either.
Well, I suppose revolution is always an option.
That's actually something I was meaning to ask you about. Part of the reason we didn't take care of it when we were there is because we weren't sure we had the resources, but, there's a bit of, is it fair to call it a hostage situation, Ray? With your, cousins?
You mean my me's?
Yes, your cousins.
Your family.
Yeah. It's safe to say that everyone is living the worst life possible.
Yes, there's a woman who is ruling over a port city in Kalmia who has just completely subjugated the entire city. It's, believe me when I say it is genuinely terrifying, and I don't know if we have the resources to fix it, but the League might.
Is that right on the northern area of Kalmia?
Yes, that's the
Sure.
one.
Ah,
We're not gonna bring up my random engagement either. It's fine. I don't care.
I mean, I'm quite familiar with that region. The League does a fair amount of business with that area.
Oh, do you? Just to be sure, it's the area where no one can communicate while you are there. No
Yes,
messaging, no
the
sending, no...
anti-communication barrier is quite the annoying thing when we send agents to pick up orders.
What exactly do you pick up there?
Fire crystals attached to the plane of fire.
Oh,
Huh.
Yeah,
Makes
there's a
sense.
large mine underneath the city there that has a premier
yes.
attachment to the fire plane, where their crystals are quite evidently powerful there as well.
Oh god, everything makes sense.
So what you're saying is, if we blow up the mine, we could take care of everything at once.
I mean, then we would lose a massive amount of resources and income for the League, but...
Yes, but think of that terrible woman that was just awful that we'd get rid of. I think it seems like a fair trade.
Think of an excuse to use demolitions.
She's
I mean-
literally controlling children like puppets. It's awful.
And other people.
And other people, including myself, which was embarrassing and humiliating, and I don't want to talk about it, but yes, other people.
No, I mean... that's- Oh, go ahead.
Is there anything you can tell us about the town that you know that we probably don't, other than the fire crystals and the anti-communication field? Do they have magical defenses? Other than that, do they have like a detection grid of some kind?
No, however, recently they have been sending a fair amount of trade to Magdia.
Oh, well, there's another point in that plan's favor.
I believe they've been
Okay.
sending experimental troops of some sort.
Oh, God.
Oh god, I'm now picturing like horrible mutants with like fire crystals embedded in them.
We had very different visions. I was picturing an entire army of Rays, like just souped up, roided out Rays.
Okay,
Like-
I'm out of character. I'm starting to like this idea. Just to find it'd be fascinating to see what the hell's going on. So, well,
Ray, but covered in striking runes.
wouldn't it be wonderful, Ray, to celebrate your engagement in a home you can call your own? You know, after you've put your horrible.
You
armor-
liberate the entire home.
Yes.
I
Think of
don't
that.
want to get married.
Oh yeah. I forgot it was fake. I forgot.
Ray, it
Not
is.
even that. We're talking about exploding my home village.
Oh no, I was
Yeah, of
joking.
course. Ray, it's your hometown. However you want to handle it, I'm behind you 100%.
Oh.
Good for her.
Okay, thanks.
So awkward.
Wow.
So
Committed.
there's that option, of course.
I mean, I'm sort of in favor of that now. You know, I shouldn't say that. That is my personal opinion. I have no real investment. It links. You have something that's very dear to your heart that you want to take care of. Yes.
I think that it's going to be an absolute disaster no matter what we do.
Yes, but we have the potential of possibly giving you some very nice closure if we do your thing.
I don't want closure. I want my friends to not be dead, or at the very least, resting in peace.
Well, see that one of those is possible, or more likely.
You okay, Lynx?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Does it get colder in here?
Yes, that's the air conditioning of the cot. I've kinked it up a notch, as they say.
Oh yeah, that famous like horse-drawn carriage air conditioner.
Yeah, it's evocation magic. It's a very light, low-level cone of cold.
I wanna like believe that it's just the horse, the tail of the horse just fanning somehow.
I like how Will got a cone in there somehow.
Yeah, he's gotta have his cone of cold.
So, just to be clear, Lynx, the liberation of your friends' souls involves the confrontation of the Baba Yaga.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Like
Hey,
I
Baba
said,
Yaga.
it's going to be an absolute shit show no matter what we do.
True. I think we should wait for Tillamook's response to this letter that I like pigeon carry fucking toss.
I don't think there's a pigeon around, is there?
There is.
I think you just. Oh, I was worried you just put it out the window.
Yeah, Ray kind of like ties the pigeon off, and as it goes flying off, it's like, oh dear, we'll get it there much quicker. Gallant kind of like clinks the tea glass to like the thing, and like this hawk just like swoops in, grabs the pigeon, and starts flying.
Oh no!
Why do I get the impression if Gallant were to be killed, he would just explode into magic items? We would get so much loot.
Oh my god!
I want to be scared of it, but I'm so turned on.
Okay, then why don't we wait for Tora's response, and we'll just lay low in Brighthall until we get that, and then we can formulate a plan from there.
Let's go after Baba Yaga.
Now all I can
Hey,
imagine
Baba
is that
Yaga.
the man's anatomy is just made up of magic items. That's all I can think of now.
I'm 100% down to do some Baba Yaga fighting.
I don't think that's a fight we're going to win.
Lynx,
Not yet,
let's
anyway.
go. You want to put your friends to rest? I want to rest these hands in something.
Well, why don't we put it to a vote then? First option, just laying low in Brighthall until something something new develops for any of our options. Is anyone in favor of that? Raise your hands. You don't count, T-Man. So that's one from Nim for wait and see. Second option, an expedition to the Magiscard Wastes to try and find some resolution for Lynx's friends. All in favor? That's 2 there. Journey to Ray's hometown to start a revolution against her family. All in favor of that option, raise your hand. I'm not sure. I wasn't actually thinking about people voting twice. Now I'm confused. That's all right.
God damn it, Nim!
I'm just saying I'm fine with either. I just don't think we have what it takes to face the Baba Yaga right now.
And you think you have what it takes to face my aunt?
A
I
Baba
think with
Yaga.
the information, we just a Baba Yaga. Even though she did mention that the others were killed, didn't she?
Yes, but now they are spiritual Baba Yagas.
Ah,
That sounds way cooler. Let's do that.
excellent. Cassandra, what do you think? You didn't vote.
Well, to be honest, I'm not really used to having a vote. But,
Oh.
anyway.
Yes, unfortunately, Cassandra, one of the downfalls of democracy is that it often takes quite a bit of time to get anything done.
True. Well, I suppose I could find some answers of my own in the Magiskard Waste. But whatever the group decides, I'm all right with.
Oh, we seem to be a bit of a tie then. Well, how about this? I imagine, I turn to our friend here, it would take at least a little bit of time to arrange any sort of transport, yes?
Yes, it will take a short amount of time for us to arrange a ship for you to take you to the Magiskard Wastes if that's where you wish to head. Especially one that would not be scrutinized by the local Lutonian, I've forgotten what a navy is called. A navy.
Well, why don't we go with sort of a splitsies then? We'll settle into a safe house in Brighthall for a day or something as transport is prepared. And if nothing comes up by the time the transport is ready, we will head out to one of our 2 possibilities. We'll have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Let's go hang out and have a staycation in Brighthall for a day or 2.
Justice for Lynx Fallen.
Eventually, yes. I'm all in favor of justice.
You know, there are some regions in the Magiskard Waste where justice reigns from above, and he kind of clap the horses and they'll start running off. So, you guys are going to make your way back to Brighthall, I think is what you guys have consented
I
on?
think so. I think we have to wait there for a little bit no matter what.
I do take the time to rummage through my coat and pull out for each of us a lovely party mask, just so no one catches a glimpse of us from inside the carriage and oh, they look like the people from the wanted poster.
Oh, like a little
You know, I
masquerade
know
mask?
something about that.
Call the constabulary.
I will say that the carriage's windows are tinted.
I'm going to hand one of my hats of disguise to
Yeah.
Professor Chip, because I think he's possibly the most recognizable among us.
Yeah, potentially.
Turn into a catfolk. A very
Awfully
small
awful.
catfolk. Oh god, I'm a kitten folk.
Oh,
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 Yowza.
I want some yarn.
oh!
don't we all?
I love that.
Same.
I love that for you.
So, you guys begin to trot your way into town, and as you are doing so, can everyone make me a Perceptione check?
Oh, we're actually rolling on something.
Perception.
Yep. 19 for Nim, 14,
Oh, Lynx.
22, and a 27, and a 15.
Cat's
so,
eyes.
Lynx, Chip, and Nim will be the ones to notice their wanted posters as you guys are entering the city. They are plastered about all over the place. And
Is it a
the
slow
photos of
news
them,
day?
they aren't photos, but they're
Yeah, for
artists-
real.
They're sort of like photo artistic renderings of yourselves. So Chip's nose is ever so slightly longer, and he has a very evilly grin, and there's that short twirly mustache attached to the wrap where the whiskers are.
Now that is speciest.
For Lynx,
A little.
it's imagine evil Lynx with the hair is slicked back, and there's little glaring and anger just looking on the face. Cassandra's is this paled elf with this blood red eye and this terrible sneer on their face. Nims is just like this like human person that's just like has like stars and like fire around themselves, and then Rays is this like little picture of like a child that's like, do not approach, they will set you on fire.
Yeah,
That's fair.
understandable.
That's not an
That was
exaggeration.
accurate.
However,
cute.
eventually you are brought to the safe house. And yeah, inside of the safe house, it's a very like large sort of building. Gallant will kind of like open the door of the carriage and usher you in quickly. So yes, it's a abandoned library that we bought a few years ago.
Cassandra is so excited.
And it
The
is
way?
Like, oh,
it's
How'd you know it's my birthday?
the top
my
of
God.
it is like this squat square building that's very plain looking. However, when you open into it, the library itself actually goes into the ground, and it's like several circular floors that has like this central circular stairwell. And she's like, yes, we had never managed to empty out all the books, but we did keep everything preserved. So have yourselves a lovely little staycation, and I will get the work done for your transport to the Magus God Waste. Are we still doing that? Yes, yes, yes.
yes.
I think
Sure.
so.
Would it be terribly difficult to get us a paper? I know we probably shouldn't leave to ask for a paper.
I can get you a paper.
Thank you. Sorry, you were going to say something, Nim.
Like a newspaper, right? I'm just
Yes,
making
yeah.
sure. Okay, cool.
I wrote a letter to a member of the ship of the Viatori Royale a couple weeks ago. I left the college's P.O. box as the return address. I don't suppose anything has come back for me, has it?
I haven't checked, but I can run over there and do so if you'd like.
Thank you.
Yes. Chip, would you like anything from your apartment? I'm heading back there now.
Oh, I'm sorry?
Would you like anything from your apartment, Chip?
I'm glad he has the respect to call it his apartment and not our apartment.
My clothes, perhaps?
Oh, yes, I can fetch some of those. I should warn you, they were stretched a fair bit from the housewarming. But it would be fine. And he'll turn, the door will close and he'll head out.
Oh! Poor Chip.
Chip opens his coat more than normally and pulls out a book that is actually got a couple like small leather belts on it, like it's all sealed up, and he kind of seems to squeeze it to reassure himself that it's there, and then puts it back into his coat.
So, all of y'all are in a library.
I have some shit I want to do.
So
Of course you do.
we're going to go into a bit of downtime. Well, not really downtime. Cassandra, you have shit you'd like to do in the library.
Yes.
What would you like
Now
to
that I am a master at library lore, I want to look some stuff up. I got things I want to know.
All right. Well, what do you want to look up in this library?
First things first, I want to learn everything I can about Countlim before it was the Magus Guard Waste.
Okay, make me a library lore check to see how well your research goes. Very nice. That's a success for this library. So, as you are beginning to do your research, a couple of things you'll notice. Number one, the lower floor, it's basically the library is ordered chronologically and by genre. So basically each of the circles is, like, each level of the library is a different, like, era of books. So older books are towards the bottom, newer books are towards the top. And believe it or not, there's still some actual current books on the top floors of this library. And, like, these are things that have been written within, like, the past year. So they shouldn't be unless the library has been being maintained. Is that something you notice, that library lore check? However, you also do notice you find some information. Specifically about the warpath that they were taking. What they were basically doing is they were creating a magical dependency in the world. So the way they were basically warring to start before they, like, outright invaded people was by providing magical conveniences and magical items. It's why there are so many magical lights and things all around the place. It's because this old country was basically giving them to other countries to make them dependent on it. And then, when they wanted to try to take over the world, they shut everything off and basically crippled every other nation.
Interesting.
I did my best to learn, and none of that.
Cool. Yeah.
Whilst Cassandra is doing that, I'm going to ask Lynx to make me a perception check.
Okay.
27, nice. Lynx, as you're wandering about the library, you can find on a pedestal a book. The page is opened. It is open to its like middle section of the book, but it does open and it looks like it's been recently used. What would you like to do?
Find out what book it is.
Okay. So you can go up to the book. It's a series of fantasy stories.
Okay.
About a basically like a enchanted forest where there was a hidden basically areas of the forest that was this fabulous garden where every single flower in the world could be found. And how this one girl had always dreamed to go there, but she could never like actually make it. And as you're looking at this book, I need you to make me a will save.
Okay.
Is someone about to get isekai'd?
God, I hope so.
That's a failure. Lynx. Things will happen. We'll go to that in a minute.
But a 20 is a failure. Uh-oh.
We find Lynx's head rolling down the aisle.
God, I wish.
No. But Lynx, I will say that for the time being, you have disappeared from this library.
I believe that. I have been Winnie the Pooh in Kingdom Hearts away.
Darkness, darkness, light, darkness.
Yes, darkness.
So,
Gorsh!
Cassandra, what was
Oh,
the next
God.
thing you wanted to research?
Next, I wanted to see if I could find anything on the wives.
Okay, make me another library lore check. Unfortunately, that is a
Get the
failure.
most out of that skill.
You managed to find a number of basically like good housekeeping books. It's like how to be a good wife, recipes for the good wife,
Don't be.
and all that type of thing. It's in the very like lower sections.
How
of the
to poison
library.
your husband.
Me.
While Cassandra's looking around for that, Nim. What does Nim get up to while they're in the library?
I've got a couple of things I want to do. I'm going to make use of Mr. Merle to do some reconnaissance for me. I want to send him to 2 places. I would like to send him to my apartment first.
Okay.
Just to see if it is in fact, crawling with police officers. I'm also curious to see if the key is like the spare key is still by the tulip planter where it was, if Alessandra used it or not. And if it's possible for him to get into the apartment, I would like to make sure that the rent money is still under the bed where I left it.
Lord.
And then before I send Merle out, I'm going to write a quick little note just saying, I hope you are okay. Please send word if you are. And instead of signing my name, I draw a little cloud with a little moon.
Aww.
And I tie it to Merle's leg and instruct Merle that after checking out the apartment, to see if he can't find ascendancy.
All right. Nim, make me a perception check.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Nim, after about 10 minutes, you notice some sort of like shadowy figure within the library.
Whoa!
Don't like that.
It is
Don't like
feminine
that.
in form, about
Don't like that.
and has a very similar silhouette to Gwendolyn.
Uh-oh.
What would you like to do?
Hello? Hello?
It runs off.
Hey, come back! Come back! I chase after her!
You begin to run through like these like past these like library shelves, and eventually it comes to a dead end. There is no shadowy figure here. However, there is a book that's been left open on the floor.
I'll pick it up and read it.
Angrily.
Angrily.
Yes.
Okay. As Nim's taking a look at this book, it is a collection of stories of these little like rock trolls. That basically, it's a children's book. Where these like small rock trolls are learning how to live in society and how to be kind to one another. And I need you to make me a will save.
We live in a society.
God.
I mean, that's accurate.
And
not a
Nim, you
chance.
two will disappear from the library.
Fantastic.
Cassandra, what was the next thing you wanted to research?
I wanted to see if I could find out anything about my husband.
My husband.
My
Make me
man.
a library lore check.
I'm a whole library lord.
That's a success, not a critical success, but a success.
I
You
like it.
find a biography that's been written about them. This is in the very lowest section of the library. And
My husband wrote this?
Yes.
My husband?
It's like an autobiography, and it goes into his life and about it can very much be summed up about it's very much his life, and towards the end of it talks about the advances they made in order to end the war, and how it cost them not only their personal life and their personal time, but it also cost them the life of their wife, who had succumbed to the war, and because of this, he became ever steeled in ending it.
Succumbed to the war, that rat bastard. No offense, Chip.
I'm not here.
It does, however, mention a footnote that they did set up a small sort of like lab area in the Magiscard Wastes after the events were done to do some research, and you'll get the location of that.
Cool.
Ray.
Cool.
Ray's in the
cool.
library.
I could care less. I'm just kind of like poking books and being like, "Hey, Lynx, you wanna go fight a Baba Yaga?"
As you're like basically like saying that, there's just never an answer.
I want to believe that she's just kind of like whispering around every corner, just,
You wanna fight a Baba Yaga?
hey, Lynx.
Hey, Lynx.
Hey.
Hey,
Wanna fight a Baba Yaga?
you wanna fight a Baba Yaga?
This is getting legitimately creepy.
Ray, as
Hey,
you're wandering about the library, make me a perception check.
Okay. Boom! A solid 13.
You swear.
Now that's
you
what
can
I call
see-
iconic.
You swear you can see that there's like the embers of a fire burning down one of the aisles.
Hey, someone set this place on fire and it wasn't me this time, I promise.
What would you like to do?
That's a fair thing to call out, honestly.
Is anybody, hello? Okay, I guess I just walk over since nobody responded.
As you approach the bright light, it's actually coming from a book, a pop-up book.
A word?
No, there's no. It's all pictures. It's like a picture pop-up book, and it's open to a page that's like this big fire, and inside this big fire, there's some sort of like bipedal creature that is chasing after a number of children.
It's Ray.
Ray's like, oh, okay, this is a cool book.
Make me a will save, Ray.
Make you a what?
A will save.
Oh, no.
Haha, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, that's 25.
25 is a failure.
Oh no!
Will!
I sense the hand of the DM kind of pushing.
What in the Sam hell?
DC is 26.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so, from that book, that like large bipedal feature, its maw will kind of open up and just whoop, bite, and Ray, you're no longer in the library.
Oh, where I go?
Damn, she got what she wanted.
Cassandra, what are you researching next?
Ooh, first, since it's an autobiography, does it give the husband's name?
It does not. He's simply known as the researcher who ended the war.
Well, I'm going to check this book out and put it with my stuff just in case.
Fair enough.
And after that, I'm going to search for what I can find about the weapon that he made.
Can you make me a perception check?
Oh, great. I suppose I probably could do that, but will I? I mean, yeah. Oh!
You
That's
don't notice this until they're directly behind you. But then, poking on your shoulder, you'll hear, "Dear, I think it's time we returned you home." What would you like to do?
Don't like that.
I love this
I-
master.
Don't turn around. Do I recognize the voice?
You recognize the voice, but you can't place it.
I am going to, without looking, I'm going to reach my hand behind me and just brain drain.
Good for her. She knows what she's about.
Okay, so I need to make a will save on a haunt. Can the haunt make a will save?
What?
I don't think they can make a will save. I'll give them a +6.
Oh no!
Failure.
Did I win?
You did.
You'll love to see it.
You know what?
Truly.
I'm going to use my villain point that Rubik's Shoe gave me to reroll that.
You hate to see it.
Ya hate to see it!
How the turns have tabled.
Yeah. 24.
What's your DC, Cass?
It should be like 22 or 23. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, my spell DC
How is
is
it?
25.
I was gonna say, how is it not 25?
Oh
Mine's
yeah, because
25.
Oh, you didn't update your expert. It's still a failure. Okay, so Cassandra.
There goes your villain point. Ah.
Not
you
us
can ask
vindictive
2
over the
questions
DM's
about
failure.
You can ask 2 questions about this creature.
Who are you?
It is a haunt. It is not, in fact, your husband. It's a haunt. It's called a lure haunt.
And how to get rid of it.
An occultism check of a DC 30 will do it.
Check.
Is it-
Okay.
A lure haunt, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Does it stand in dark alleyways and say, "Got a light"?
I know
It should.
you're shivering.
New haunt, who dis?
I don't suppose it changes anything that I have spiritual sense.
You're able to sense the origin of it.
All right, cool. Well, here's my occultism check. Did not do it.
You did not. You're not able to suppress the haunt. However, you are able to notice that in the bottom of the library, on the central pedestal, at the very bottom of the staircase, is a singular wrapped book with a sort of green cover and a golden filigree around its title.
Well. How very tempting that would be.
And that
I'm
book
gonna read its
appears-
aura.
That book appears to be the source of the haunt. It is a conjuration aura.
Interesting. I don't have dispel magic, do I? I do not.
Would you like to maybe alert people if you can? What would you like to do?
Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll call the stairs. I'm like, hi guys, there are some magic books down here. I would do what I can to avoid them if possible.
Chip, you're the only one that
Guys?
hears it.
Hello.
I rushed towards the sound of my comrade's voice.
Oh, you run to that, but you don't run to, hey, this is on fire and it's not my fault this time?
Will said I heard this. He didn't say I heard you, I'm afraid.
Uh-huh. Okay, I see how it is. I see what's going on.
It's a very large library. Some might say this library is too big for the building that houses it.
Ooh.
Oh.
Chip, are you?
You can find Cassandra
Where's
easily.
everyone else?
Do I reach Cassandra?
Yep.
All right. And what exactly is the scene I see here?
So the central stairwell leads to like a singular like bottom floor area. Matt, for your benefit, very much like that center in the ledge building, like where you go into that like room there. It leads to that type of an area with like a central pillar that has a book on it.
And the book's just sitting on the pillar.
The book is just sitting closed on the pillar.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get between the book and Cassandra.
Okay. Chip,
And
your
I would
eyesight's
like to do...
pretty
Sorry?
good. Your eyesight's pretty good, right?
I think so, yeah. I have low light vision for one thing, too.
The book looks very familiar to you.
Uh-oh.
In fact, it looks like a copy of one you hold in your possession currently.
Uh-oh.
I turn to Cassandra like, Cassandra, I think it would be in your best interest if you went and waited upstairs.
All right. I was going to look for a book on a little weapon, so I guess I'll go do that.
Cassandra, as you turn to go up the stairs, they are no longer there.
Sir,
Oh,
I'm afraid I'm unable to go upstairs.
Oh my god.
And
I suddenly kind of tilt my head a little bit and I turn to Cassandra. Have you seen any of the others?
Not since we got in here, no.
Nim? Lynx? Cassandra, there's Caramel. I mean, sorry. Ray, there's Caramel.
Yeah, Caramel.
No, it's a lie. It's a lie.
I see.
You hear no response.
Oh, surprise there.
Jeez.
Can I use access lore to figure out about this library?
Yes, if you'd like to.
I'm gonna try.
Ooh, that was... You sift
access
through the
lore.
multiverse's divine knowledge. Jesus.
Use your library lore check.
Library lore check. Yes. Hello. I love my library lore.
We're getting a lot of use out of that skill today.
It's a good day for library
It's a good
lore.
day for library lore.
I made myself a master in it today too when I
That is a
leveled up.
critical success, Cassandra.
Delightful.
The more time you've spent in this library, the more you've kind of figured out its systems, and the more you figured it out, there was a large sort of repository of knowledge. It was a library created by Ayun that holds every book in existence.
Wait, a library created by who?
Ayun, the god of knowledge.
Ah.
We're fighting a god, yo.
It was said to hold every book in existence, even ones that were yet to be written.
Ah. Ooh, I like this place.
And you believe yourself to be within that library. However, that library was meant to basically procure knowledge for people and to have knowledge be easily shared. the fact that it's like what it's doing right now would not be what its normal functionality is.
Not hot and sexy.
Yeah. So I tell this to Professor.
And I'm still kind of just staring very warily at this book on this pedestal. And just to confirm for myself, I'm going to reach into my coat and pull out the book I checked earlier. Is it still there, Will?
Yes, it is.
All right, so I kind of look down at the book and I look up at the book. Do they look similar for what I can see? Just sort of like the
do,
cover
in
and the
fact,
size?
look exactly the same.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Professor?
I put the book back in my coat, and I just turn and I take one of Cassandra's hands in both of mine, and I say, "Do you trust me, Cassandra?"
Yes, Professor.
Then please know that I would never do anything to harm you,
All right.
whatever may happen. And I'm going to go over and examine the book.
As you are walking,
Cassandra has a moment. She's like, I feel like I've heard that sentence before.
As you are walking towards it, Cassandra, yes, that will actually trigger a memory. You have heard that sentence before. As you're walking towards the book, Matthew, Chip, a figure will walk out from behind the pillar. Standing there directly in front of you in their sort of like the same garb that you saw them during the Barhala tournament arc, is that same
Good job, squad.
thin, langly man with that sort of like dirty brown spiked up hair. Says, "I see you've made it to the library."
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Ready to finish your story?
Oh, my good sir. My story is already written, and I pull out my revolver and I try to shoot this gentleman several times.
Professor!
Do I see this?
Yes, you do. Fire at will, Chip.
I don't suppose I would get the
Yes, you would.
benefits of a
This is
strategic. All right.
technically part of investigation.
23.
Hits.
All right. Well, 9 damage and 5 additional damage. I'll try for a second shot.
As you fire your first shot, it goes into him. He like recoils back a second and then just steps forward. Oh, that hurt, Chip. That's one.
Dun, dun,
Pulls out the
dun.
bullet. As you fire the second shot, it hits him.
Well, you know the scientific method. Try repeatedly until you achieve interesting results.
Haha, I'm in danger.
Secondary one also gets the hit. Pulls out the bullet again. That's strike 2, Chip. One more, I'd have to remove your. Where would you
Why can't I roll this ball other times?
What a mood.
That one goes like right through his head.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that.
And like as it does, like the wound is there, and he's just staring at you and says, well, and he like takes like a pen, like a feather pen, dips it in the wound. I suppose this will be quite the interesting development. Smiles at you.
I would ask that you return my students, please.
That, I'm afraid, is not up to me.
I feel like I don't believe you.
Sometimes, when people who escape their stories enter the world, can cause a shift of balance in this library.
I find that a tad strange. I've never been to this library in my existence.
But you began your life in this library.
I remember it differently.
He'll kind of like point down a hallway. You'll notice like a number of just like these like volumes and volumes of books, and it's the entirety of the collection of your series, Chip.
Uh-oh.
I mean, are they first editions?
They are.
I mean, well, that's actually a little bit impressive. Well, I'm afraid that doesn't necessarily prove anything. Books can be moved from one shelf to another with little effort.
Upon taking a closer look, Chip, you will notice that sitting, basically chained to one of the desks, is the man who authored them. He can't rest until...
Can I do a medicine check
Yes.
to see if...
He's still writing. He's in, like, the process of writing another book. It's there, but they're very much, like, in a state of undeath. They can't rest until they finish their work, Chip.
I have the overwhelming urge to unload another few rounds into you, sir.
Feel free to do
I
so.
feel that this is a desecration. This is highly disrespectful. This man, as far as I'm aware, died and he deserves his rest.
Knowledge must be preserved. And great work.
I want to check on this random man.
Cassandra, as you, like, go up to them, they appear to be a human man. They are entirely engrossed. It looks like basically they're in the stages of becoming a skeleton, but they're just eternally writing.
Ugh.
The
Don't like it.
fate of those who do not finish their works before they pass.
And who exactly determines that his work is unfinished? As far as I'm aware, and I kind of pat my jacket a little where the book is, the final story had been written.
But he had many more in him. Kind of smiles.
What would it take to release him?
To finish the story. We've already
Well, I mean, I could-
started. In fact,
mean-
if you recall, you've already lost one of them.
What would it take to return them?
Well, I suppose that would be entirely up to the main character of the story. Kind of smiles and walks back behind the pillar and disappears.
I'm not sure if it's my place, but I'm going to ask anyway. What's your...
Haha. What?
I've never been fond of unnecessary sequels, you see. A good story should know when to end. It is a long story, Cassandra. I wish I could tell all of it to you, but I fear that the longer we linger here, the longer our friends may be in danger. There is strange things occurring here, and I can't even pretend to understand all of it. But I think the key of it all is this book here, and that we should probably examine it and deal with whatever consequences arise.
Well, all right.
I am very sorry that you are having to be involved in this and that all the others are involved in this. This is not your story, and I feel horribly guilty that you have been pulled into it.
That's
Oh,
okay.
this is every nightmare I've ever had.
Well, take it from me. We all make mistakes, some of which we cannot control completely. So
And some
let's
of
deal
us
with it.
and some of us are mistakes. Anyway, I walk up to the book
Mhm.
and take a look. What chapter are we open to? What
It
page?
is open to the first page. And as many good mysteries begin, it begins on a dark and stormy night.
Oh yes, pathetic fallacy.
Cassandra and Chip, would you guys like to make a will save, or would you like to voluntarily fail?
I would voluntarily like to fail.
Well, if the professor does it, I'll fail too.
Then, when you begin to read the book, you all find yourselves in a different spot. And now, we're going to jump back to Lynx. Lynx, you were the first to arrive here. It is a dark city. The buildings around you are Gothic in nature. and they go up as far as you can see.
Pretty brave of them.
The
Okay.
night sky is a sort of like twisted rendition of one that you're familiar with. And to your right, on the cobblestones of this walkway that you are in,
Mhm.
is the bloody body of a humanoid woman.
Nice.
Do I recognize her? Can I take a look?
Is there a Whitechapel street sign anyone nearby?
Make me a perception check.
What was that, Will?
Make me a perception check.
Got it. No, I do not.
Lynx, as you begin to like move over to the body, you can't really notice any of the distinguishable features of it. It is, in fact, quite covered in blood. Do you turn it over?
Mhm.
As you do so, a humanoid face familiar to Lynx appears. It is, in fact, Nim. And now, we jump into Nim.
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Nim,
It's who?
You find yourself standing down this street. Below you is some sort of mass, and directly in front of you is the Lynx. What would you like to do?
Sorry, my headset did a thing. Say that one more time.
This is for Nim.
Oh.
Below you is some sort of mass you haven't looked at yet, but directly in front of you, standing there in this like rainy cobblestone street, is the Lynx.
Lynx, do you have any idea where we are?
Doesn't appear to have any response.
Lynx! Lynx!
Doesn't
I
notice you.
fully wave my hand in front of his face.
As you step out of that mass, you kind of trip a bit, and you catch like the fact that you were standing over top of a body.
I guess I take a look at the fucking body.
It is Nim's body.
Okay.
And the next thing we know, we take a break from that scene. For now, it jumps over, and basically sitting in like a building in a very like fine, rich, tapestried classroom. Ray, you're sitting down there.
Hello?
And then walking through the door, and you are currently alone, is Chip and now Cassandra.
Hey, there you are.
Is it us though?
Yes,
Like-
it is.
Okay.
Okay, okay, there you are.
Chip,
Oh, yes.
you have memories. You have context. This is your story. You know what's going on. You know that at the beginning of the story, you were walking into a classroom with your assistant at the time to begin helping a very rich child of a noble person basically begin to learn the process of becoming an inspector. As there's been a string of murders lately, and a family member of theirs had passed.
I turn to look at Cassandra, and I have a bit of an odd look in my eye, Cassandra, and I say, "All right, Cynthia, we are here to assist this young lady." Oh, I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm sorry, Cassandra. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's alright.
Ray, are you all right?
Are you guys okay?
Unclear at this time. I suspect we are going to have to locate our friends. We are in a bit of a sticky wicket, so to speak. But I'm glad I have you both here. Before we proceed any further, I would like to have you do something for me. Both of you. I would like you to give me a promise, and I want you to promise to do something for me, no matter how much it may seem crazy at the time or how much you may not want to. can you promise that you will do this favor for me?
All right.
Okay.
All right. If the opportunity arises for all of us, Lynx, Nim, both of you, to escape this book, but it is necessary to leave me behind, you must promise me that you will do it.
Okay.
That's quick.
I put a hand on Rachel if I knew I could
Okay.
count on you.
All right.
It'll be all right. I promise. In a way, I belong here, so it'll be fine. All right. And I just kind of settle down, and weird look comes in my eyes. Well, yes. I suppose we'd best head to the scene of the crime. We must gather evidence if we are to find the perpetrators.
What?
Go along with it, Ray. It'll be all right.
Come, Cynthia, Rosalia. On away. The case is afoot.
Who?
Go along with it. Of course, Professor?
Pip pip cheerio, I guess.
Indeed.
So, as you guys exit the room, we jump back to Lynx. Lynx, standing lying on the ground in front of you in a bloody mess is Nim's body. What do you do?
Hit it.
Howl at the moon.
He's
Does my
definitely
spirit
confused.
here? Oh, wait, we're not here yet.
You're
Never
not
mind.
there yet.
I am,
You-
though. Can I try messaging him?
Yes, you can, in fact.
You're fine.
And, Lynx, you will hear Nim's voice in your head with the message cantrip.
I don't think I'm dead yet. I can see you.
Okay, that's not gonna fly. He very much whips the fuck around and just has no clue
In front of
what
you,
is
in
going
front of
on.
you.
You're talking to the only person we know who has like ghosts in his life. So
I'm not dead yet.
Listen,
I'm not dead yet!
I'm seeing what you're seeing, and I know it looks really, really bad. But I am here. This is weird. I don't like this. I'm sure you don't like this either, or maybe you do. I don't know.
Did Nimbus just accuse Lynx
Not
of
liking
being
her
a
very much.
necrophiliac?
No, I'm just not liking her a
yes.
whole lot.
Yes, she just did.
I think she did.
That's not the intention. Don't twist my words.
Lynx, as Nim is saying that to you, you feel a bump on your shoulder, like a sort of like a tap. Excuse me, fine sir.
Yeah?
And as you turn around, standing behind you is a very luxurious-looking, black-haired cat folk. I'm assuming that's not your handiwork.
No.
Now then, perhaps it would be best if we collected the constabulary.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I will go. If you would be so kind, I'll hand you this card. And it's basically a business card. It says, I'll go collect the constabulary. Now, I also do happen to know quite the detective. When they come around, simply give them this, and they will know that this is something for them to look at. And he kind of smiles, and he will run off down the alleyway.
Okay.
And yeah, as we jump back now to Chip, Cassandra, and to Ray, you guys are walking down like this like very long sort of college hallway, and running up is a very pudgy man with this like sort of like big white mustache. He says, Mr. Detective, sir, Professor Chip, sir.
calm yourself, my good man. Calm yourself. I am here.
There's been another, and as if to wait to dramatic pause, there's like a crash of lightning in the window. Murder!
What the fuck was that?
Well, I didn't think you were calling me for tips on tea making.
Oh my god.
You and your dark humor.
Well, one must laugh in the face of death, or one will succumb to despair, my good fellow.
Yes, that's quite true. But the face of death is why I have come to find you.
Let us proceed. Show me the way.
Yes, of course. And he kind of like begins running you through like the city streets, and it's almost like a blur and a flash. And the next thing you know, Link standing beside you is Chip, Cassandra, and Ray. Chip, Cassandra, Ray on the ground. You can see a body. Standing there is Lynx.
Hi, Lynx.
Well, he freaks the fuck out again. Like, just confused as all hell. Has no clue where you all came from.
I hold up a hand to Lynx. Please, stand back, young man. Trust me, I'm a professional.
Ray
Does
kind of
that
kicks the
work?
body.
Yes.
Lynx just goes, yes, you have tenure, I know.
We're going to do this in order of operations. Chip.
Sure.
First
Yes.
thing you noticed. Body on the ground. It's Nimbus. Second
Alright.
thing you noticed. Across the person's back, across Nim's back, written basically in like sword slashes, is the phrase, "For our dear detective."
Ah,
Cassandra, Nim is standing in front of you. However, they are in a spiritual form.
I point at him. I'm like, what are you doing?
Did I just get fridged? Was I just murdered for a male character's development? Is that what's happening?
No.
I think so.
Is that what's happening?
This was
ironically, it's actually kind of the opposite because this would be regression for me.
For the detective? That seems like it's for you. I don't... What is this? What is this? What is going on here?
This is a decision Chip
Are
made in the
you alright?
Valhalla arc.
I don't know, Cassandra. I sure don't look all right. I look very, very dead. But I don't feel dead. I don't have my familiar. Will, out of character, what happens to a familiar when their person dies?
Well, technically, and this is the best part, you're not dead.
Well, yes, but I don't know that yet.
What would happen is Merle would just poof.
Okay,
Oh.
what I am going to do is put a hand on Cassandra's shoulder to steady myself for a second
It goes
and
through
say,
it.
excuse me, for 1 second, and I'm going to use share senses, because if I can see through Merle in the real world, then it means that I for certain am not dead in this one, that this is some sort of illusory something or
Does
other,
share
and I very
senses
much
work
need...
across planes of existence?
I don't know.
It's something to
I
look
don't
into.
You suddenly see yourself eating a mouse.
I don't know.
Ew.
I don't
I
know
don't
if shared
think it
senses works.
says...
Let's check it. If it does, we'll find out. If not, Nim would know that wouldn't work between planes.
Once every 10 minutes, you can use a single action with the concentrate trait to project your senses into your familiar. When you do, you lose all sensory information of your own body, but can sense through the familiar's body for or up to 1 minute. You can dismiss the effect. It doesn't say.
Then I will say that you can. Merle is currently flying through the air of Lutania. Of Bright Hills.
Anywhere near my apartment, perhaps?
They're heading towards your apartment. They're almost there.
All right, not there yet. Okay, then I'll stay there for a little bit just to see if I can see anything up to a minute, use that full minute before I have to wait an hour again. See if I catch anything important during that 60 seconds.
As they're like basically getting to the apartment is when the minute would end.
Damn. All right, well, worth a shot.
Yeah.
You can see Nim's eyes are open and they look like Merle's eyes, that like from sclera to sclera, like starry blue
And ghosty.
look. Again, and she turns to Cassandra and says, "I am very much not dead, I promise, because I just looked through Merle's eyes, and if I look through Merle's eyes, that means Merle exists, and if Merle exists, that means that I am alive. So I'm not dead."
That's a relief.
That is disconcerting. I can't look at it. I can't keep looking at it. It's awful. But it's not real. So, hooray!
Matt,
Yes.
Chip may now continue with Lynx.
The Chip looks at you a little funny. He looks at you for a second. It doesn't look like he recognizes you, and then he kind of blinks and he's like, "Oh, Lynx. Oh God, thank God. Are you all right?"
Am I all right? What is going on? Where are we? What? How did you? I blinked and the three of you were just suddenly here. What happened?
I mean, it's poor world building. Really, they don't really describe the streets that much. No offense to you, Will. I'm talking about the book. I'm talking about the book.
I know you are. That's the...
What?
I mean, it's the final installment in the series, as far as I know. They're trying to rush to the final encounter to get the things moving.
What?
Don't worry about it. I'm assuming,
Final what?
what's that in your hand?
He looks in his hand.
Is a business card with a large circled red M in it.
Okay, I was imagining it might be something else. He'll hand Chip the business card.
Chip, it is a business card that you recognize very well, as is the calling card of your nemesis.
I stare up at the sky dramatically and look up at the moon as it appears from behind some clouds. I swear this will be the final case. We shall have a reckoning.
As you'd say that, a flash of lightning will streak across the sky, and for a second you can all see McKenna.
Me?
Yeah, you can
Me,
all see,
McKenna?
sorry, you can all see Nim. Like Ghost Nim.
See McKenna, like,
I'm not getting that now.
those.
Oh man.
I turn to Cassandra. Cynthia, what would you make of this body? What will you determine is the cause of death?
Being a bitch.
That is not terminal.
Understandable.
If we're talking about Nim, then I can see her. She's alive. She's all right. But if we're talking about that, my guess would be a blood loss.
Well, I can understand why you would think that, judging by the rather prominent wounds in the back. And I lean down and I smell near the mouth.
Ew.
As I anticipated, poison. Unfortunately, the mutilation of the body was done afterwards. You can tell by the lack of excessive blood from the wound. She was already dead and the blood flow had stopped when those wounds were administered. This, unfortunately, was just an act of barbarity.
Yeah, the blood doesn't clot like that after you...
I turned to Nim and I said, "Did you know that?"
Did I know that I was poisoned and then subsequently butchered? No. I can't say I did know that.
Ray
Interesting.
kind of kicks the body a little bit and just goes, She's seen
Actually,
better days.
turning it over would be helpful.
I get real close to Ray's ear and message her, "I'm going to haunt you."
Oh my god.
Ray's like, huh.
I know this kind of thing can be unsettling. Take a few steps back if you need a moment.
As Chip turns over the body, the scene quickly changes. You will find yourselves within the parlor of a very ornately decorated, basically, herb shop. Sitting behind the counter, basically
Does it smell
writing
dank?
notes in a large ledger, is a older human woman with sort of brown curly hair with a single gray twirl through it. Chip, you recognize this as a local spiritualist. Someone who is said to be able to give the dead a second voice.
I turned to Cassandra and, you see, It is my suspicion, unfortunately, that the man who has left this card and has left this series of bodies has studied my methods. He knows how I think. And so I'm afraid conventional methods of tracking the murderer will be ineffective. And so we have come here to something outside the norm. We are going to attempt to commune with the victim, who is dead, which is counterintuitive.
Who's
but
dead?
yes.
I guess I'm just. Oh, if you wanted to do that, I could have done that back there. I got a new spell, Talk to Corpse.
I message Chip and just say, I'm literally right here.
Pip pip cheerio, matey. Your crystal ball and talking to the dead people.
The woman looks up from the book with a flash. There's a spirit here.
Yes, I think I can already hear it. You're very good.
But it needs a vessel to inhabit itself. And she'll run into the back, and she'll come crawling out with, like, this, like, plant that has been, like, stitched together into, like, an effigy.
Oh, fuck no.
How big are we talking here? How big are we talking
Like,
here?
Leshy-sized.
Oh,
Ew.
you get to do an ancestry change.
Uh,
What?
Now, quick question. Is it a gourd leshy? Can you take things out of the head and
Yes,
put
it's a
things...
gourd Leshy.
Oh, that's very
And
good.
they say the spirit will inhabit it so long as the candle remains lit.
I lean over to
Ooh.
Cassandra and say, no, the fuck, I will not.
I go, I think for the sake of the story, you need to get into the gourd.
I am not getting into the gourd. You can't make me get into the gourd. I will not. I
I turn to Professor Chip. I'm like, she doesn't want to get into the gourd.
I take Cassandra's and the spiritualist's hand, and I just kind of close my eyes and say, "Oh, spirit, just please. I
Get
know
into the fucking gourd.
I know there is probably a blinding light waiting to carry you off into a wonderful afterlife, but please help us solve your murder."
I really think you need to get into the gourd.
I'm just going to talk to you, and you can tell them.
They will light the candle. McKenna, do you enter the gourd?
No. This is Nim's worst nightmare, which is becoming either of her parents. And if you will remember a bit about Nim's father's history,
Our parents are
Oh
gourd.
wait, yes, he got turned into a plant at one point
he did.
for like a year.
incredible.
No, Nimbus will not enter the gourd. She will not become a plant.
So as
Oh.
the candle
Oh.
gets
Will not follow in her father's footsteps. Absolutely not.
I have an idea that I think you will like, Nim. I tap the what is it? Something of the author, remnant of the author, and from like ink, the kind you would write in a book, forms a small owl. Would this perhaps be a more suitable vessel for you?
A much more suitable vessel, thank you.
And I kind of balance the candle on top of the owl's head.
Well, what they'll do is they actually light the gourd up, and like the smoke says, "Yes, the smoke from this vessel will act as a bridge to the vessel you have provided."
Fascinating.
And yes, Nim,
Can't
you are
fight the
now
gourd.
inside of an owl.
I do apologize to everyone. These books were written for like 6 to 15.
What books?
I mean, I just gestured to the room.
But it is not my place to be within privy information of a spirit. I will leave you to it. And then she like walks behind a door. You just hear it close, and a click and a latch.
I'd like to point out, we never even got her name. That's how you tell she's not an important character.
Whoever wrote this doesn't seem to have a liking for the female characters. I'm just gonna put that out there. He doesn't name them. He kills them off.
I mean, he died unmarried.
Lynx is
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
stressed.
Jin, in all of Cassandra's time in libraries, has she ever read these books before?
They were like, they were the. I'm trying to think of like a real world equivalent of these, but there's like no like Twilight cross Harry Potter cross Hardy Boys.
Mhm.
But like they're very much like the
I mean, that almost describes the Dresden Files, but that's kind of an insult to the Dresden Files.
Yeah. It's like
Nancy Drew.
think of it as like the current Nancy Drew series where all that occult stuff is happening.
I mean, people call people Nancy Drew as an insult, but she solved every case.
She did. That is true.
I freaking love Junie B. Jones, guys.
Oh, same.
But yes, Chip, you guys have the room to yourselves, and the parlor,
Hold
the lights
my
dim,
arm. Oh,
and it's like a world of darkness around you, except for the party as they chat around this table.
I hold up my arm with the little inky owl perched on it. Now, what can you tell us about your murder?
Who the fuck killed you?
I can't tell you absolutely anything. I'm super fucking dead. Literally nothing. I was in the library, and then I looked in a book, and then I was looking at my dead body. That is what I know.
What was in the book you looked at?
Rock trolls?
So you were looking at Hilda, now airing on Netflix.
I
Could have also been Frozen.
That's true.
I was thinking of Fraggle Rock. I don't know. Are they trolls? Or are they Fraggles, I guess?
I suppose it depends on who you
There will
ask.
be no Muppets in this game of D&D.
Isn't that going to be the episode where all turned into Muppets?
Yeah.
I thought that was a requirement.
No, everyone except for Chip would be turned into Muppets in this case.
Oh, I kind of love that. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not sure what that says about me.
I'm sorry.
Sorry for the rats.
I'm sorry I can't be more help, but again, I'm very, very dead, apparently, except for in meta, I'm not. I promise. I have it on good authority that I am not actually dead.
Oh man.
I whisper in.
To the story.
I lean in to the owl and I speak in much more normal kind of Professor Chip, kind of just parlance. I'm terribly sorry this has happened to you, Nim. I will do everything in my power to undeadify you.
I would appreciate that very much, thank you.
I mean, I've never managed to do that before because, I'm usually a coroner. I'm
Please
fighting
don't-
the urge to go back and do an autopsy on you. So
I feel like you could have left that part out. We were ending on a good note.
Think on a good note.
I can see that now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Moving on. We're moving on.
Yes. But perhaps it might, if you tried leaning into the story, you might get a flash of insight.
Yeah, you are a woman of the night working.
Now that was never said, I don't
hours.
think.
It was a children's book, Ray.
I like to think of.
Her.
I was thinking she was a lovely flower seller out returning home
Who gets
one night.
brutally murdered because she gave syphilis to the mayor, and now the mayor wants revenge.
Can I
This is a children's book.
as a ghost, what can I do? What can I do to Ray as a ghost?
Well, as a ghost,
Grab
there's
her
a number of
heart.
things that you can do to Ray. There's a number of unattended objects in the room that, if you'd like, you could send
Ooh.
flinging towards Ray, a la a Poltergeist. You
Abso-fucking-lutely.
could attempt to inhabit Ray's body.
I can what?
Turn back into the ink and just go in her eye.
I'm going to do that, please.
Okay, Ray, make me. So Nim, what's your spell save DC?
25.
Ray, make me
boy.
a will save.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, 31.
So you blink for a second, and Nim, you have about 6 seconds inside of Ray's body.
Oh my god.
I just take her face and like slam it on the table.
Oh my god.
And then you're out and Ray's there.
Just give her a raging headache.
Well, that's the thing that happened.
Nim is tired.
I mean, you've been murdered. It's understandable.
It's being murdered is kind of the last straw.
Ray goes, is my Tourette's back? You have to tell me if my Tourette's back.
Oh,
Oh no. For good measure, I also just
I'm
like
gonna-
knock a pot of something smelly off the wall and onto Ray.
I mean, there's probably a few of those. We're in like a
There's a
spiritual
number of like
stability
mud
spot.
herbs and stuff.
Oh, excellent. The smellier and slimier and harder to get off it is, the more likely I am to chuck it, right?
Absolutely terrible.
Oil of newt.
Sure.
So, party
Yes.
is gathered around this thing.
I would like to take any knowledge I have and pursue this lead.
Perfect. You are able to do so easily.
All right, I shall roll a perception check to try and rack my brains with the +2 from my investigation. 25.
As you're thinking about it, a couple of things pop out as odd. Number
I go into
one,
my mind palace.
from what you remember of the book, the person who was murdered was an elven figure originally.
Oh,
So it appears as though something is changing the story.
well, I don't approve of that.
Number
This is
two,
very well reviewed.
the other odd thing that you'll remember and sort of recall and notice is that this room that you're now in, there's no windows and no doors.
Surprised we didn't notice that happening.
Oh, you guys, this is how I normally live, so, like, I didn't really think it mattered.
Perhaps you can use your remnants to make us a way out.
My remnant doesn't quite work that way. I would like to use an ability I have never used before, just in case it becomes relevant.
Go for it.
I am going to use Clue In.
Nice.
Oh, you have never used that before.
I'm going to let you all share in my investigation.
Nice. Now, on any knowledge checks you guys make to help with the investigation, you guys will get a bonus.
Okay.
I want to use library lore.
Remember my books.
Unfortunately, yes, you could do that, actually. So, in these sort of mystery novels, a few common tropes that happen are this. Number one, the murder is usually something that's over the top and normally would cause a lot more attention than it would grab in the real world, but it seems like the regular constabulary and like the regular enforcement just do not pay mind to it. Number two, the villain is most often found within the first few chapters of the book, and you can usually figure out who the murderer is based off of that. Number three, especially for like later books in the series of these series, they can sometimes jump the shark when it comes to things and introduce fantastic and mystical elements without any sort of like warning. Say, hypothetically, a person who is a ghost. And then number four, and this is probably the most important thing that you remember from your library lore, the main characters are often hiding some deep, dark secret that they don't want to tell their allies. But it's often the key to solving the mystery.
All right, everybody, look deep down inside yourself, and if you have a secret, please do, in fact, reveal it. And I look deep down inside myself for any secrets.
I don't actually like tea.
I'm looking, and I'm completely see-through, so...
Well, no, you're in the owl now. You have, like, shiny black feathers.
Then I'm looking, and all I see is inky blackness.
Well, it's funny as you should say that, Nim, because like as you're kind of like thinking about like yourself as Nim, like the ink will actually begin to grow, and now there's just like this ink drawn, like imagine like a black and white pen drawn Nim.
Huh. All right.
Also, it's like...
Oh, it's full sized.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Okay.
Poke.
It's just like black ink.
Oh, sorry. I've got a bit of you on my... Oh.
Ew.
Sorry.
Terrible.
All right, so we're now in a room with no windows and no doors.
You want me to try to make one?
I mean, the direct approach could work. Is there anything else of note in the room?
There is.
Oh.
fixated on the center of that table you guys are surrounding is that business card with the M on it.
Can I examine the card?
Yeah, make me a perception check. Nice. That's a success. Upon closer inspection, the M itself has a number of basically streets and passages. It looks like a map, like a city map. And on the city map, basically right where the M is like pointing to, is what used to be a zoo, but is now long abandoned.
M marks the spot, it would seem.
Yes.
Though that doesn't solve the immediate problem. Have we get out of this room with no doors and
as you
windows?
discover that clue, a door appears on the wall.
That's just convenient.
Oh, this is a children's book.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Well, onwards. Case is afoot.
As you exit the door, you guys find yourself in a long sort of streetway. In the distance, you can see the gates towards this abandoned zoo that have been propped open and sort of like iron, like tilted. A strike of lightning flashes across the sky, and then behind you, you hear the sound of hooves of horses. And as you guys turn to see, basically behind you, see dressed all in black in a number of basically like Goonie outfits with like these like large billy clubs racing down this alleyway are several figures coming towards you all. And that is where we will leave the session.
Oh,
Oh dear.
Poor Nim.
yeah, for real. Imagine being dead for an entire story arc.
Yeah, imagine dying from syphilis.
Syphilis was the name of the knife, or the.
God.
Oh, is that what the kids are calling it these
Thank you
days?
so much, everyone. For
I
coming
wouldn't
down
know.
to tonight's episode of League of Amazing Adventurers. Join us next week as we continue the second episode of what I'm going to call an isekai arc.
Disgusting. You should feel awful about that.
Your anime references.
Where
I don't think any of us are feeling overpowered enough for this to be a proper isekai.
Okay, but
I'm
where's...
literally dead. I'm literally fucking dead.
So if this is an isekai, where is the female protagonist who, for some reason, is in love with the most basic, uninteresting male?
Me.
but in all seriousness, thank you all so
Yes.
much for coming down. Don't forget to check out our D&D show coming up this Friday in the same time slot. Don't forget to come back.
I'm
next
not dead in that one.
Yeah,
You're not,
He is
not
not
really
dead.
dead
This
in this one.
Not yet.
Not yet.
not
I mean,
yet.
did you really think there's a rat detective? That's ridiculous.
But yes, so thank you so much for coming down, everyone. Don't forget to check out the League of Amazing Adventures next week to see what will continue to happen in this crazy wild ride that the party is now on. Don't forget to come check out the Friday night show. We'll get to see the final prologue for our D&D 5e adventure. And then other than that, don't forget to check out our fabulous cast on their social medias, including McKenna's newest Instagram ventures, if you want to plug that.
Yeah, I finally made an Instagram page for my art so that it's not just on TikTok. There's not a whole lot there, but there is some new Nim art and some other like D&D themed art that has not appeared on my TikTok. Although mentioning my TikTok, I do have a new video that I put out today. It is Ascendancy's character token. Because we haven't had official art for him yet, and I want good things for Ascendancy, like a token. If I can't get good things for Ascendancy in game, I will at least get them for him out of game. He deserves it. He deserves something.
Agreed.
So yeah, go check that out. It's been fun. It's been a fun art time.
But otherwise, everyone, thank you so much for coming down. Don't forget to tune in next week to see what will happen with this very, 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 very...
Very.
I don't want to say, like, interesting, but very intriguing mystery. Thank you all so much for coming down, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.